Hello everyone, Kurt over here, and welcome back to another episode from Hope Federal Labs. Today we're going to be continuing on in regards to Fiore's first Master Dagger plays as well as counters on this. And we are going to be looking at here, with Connor helping out with this, how we might put ourselves in that good grapple which dislocates and breaks the elbow at once. Now I had done a video about this already here utilizing Vincent to kind of show how it kind of goes into play. But I really want to once again talk about how we may be able to put this into perspective here and why some of these positions might be. Again, the thing that's really nice about Fiore, in my opinion, is that it shows an end state that you can work to and by getting there. And of course, how you get there is kind of up to what you're going to be doing with this. Either way with it right here, again, we're going to be looking at, once again, start to finish, how we get into this and then how we counter this. So with that being the case here, let's get into it. Okay, so once again, we got the sinew down here, and with this right here, we don't have the line in the centerpiece. Just remember, just as a reminder, this is just showing the basics of line of entry that we may be taking within each other right here. Of course, there's always a center line pod right here, but more to follow on that. This week right here, again, like I said, we're talking about what happens if we go through it. Remember before, as far as we tell with this before, if this dagger is coming in on me right here, it's been coming off the concept, I pushed right here. And again, I don't know necessarily how we get to this position that we've been talking about, but ultimately, maybe he's pushing against me right here, and this position here allows me the opportunity to turn into this. That seems like a lot of motion. However, it's something that's feasible. Like, you know, because this person's going with it, I'm rolling with it and to go in, into, and through on target. Again, that could be the case. Another thing right here, again, remember the 5 things we have to do. So as soon as he sets this up here, I'm coming across to the body here, I'm grabbing onto the wrist, going for the eyes, and because I'm getting this guy to go backwards or something right here, maybe whatever the case would be, punch him in the throat, hit him in the eye, something along those lines, that creates a vacuum here that pulls me into this direction. And because it pulls me into this direction here, what I'm thinking is we're coming right here into this point, which allows for that break. And we're going to flip sides here. We're going to flip sides here so that we can see this once again, so you can see me in position on this side. So Connor comes in with that first that shot from above. I've covered off with this. We're matching here. He's coming in stretta. I'm going largo against here. I pop him in the eyes. You get the message to come backwards right here. I'm grabbing the face, grabbing his beard, something to pull him away from me, right? This dagger is way long. It's right there in my face. So going up underneath it puts me in the spot where I have him right here, and that literally is exactly the position that we have within the text. So again, the factor here is he's stronger, and because he's stronger, because he's come in and I've hit him in a way that's going out this way here, getting him to go away from me gives me a vacuum where I can fill, which goes that breach where I can drive into. And again, that is large, and again, depending on what the size of the person is, that's a huge factor here. Okay, so in countering this right here is going to be interesting because he's taller, and it'll be very interesting because I'm shorter. And we're going to switch sides here just so we can show this. I think this will work better. Who knows? As soon as we're coming in with it, so again, we're talking about maybe I've covered, maybe some right here, maybe he decides just to go for the arm. Okay, the thing that Fiore will say about this is that this is forceful. This is very forceful. So he is driving immediately to and through. So he's doing offline right here into the position, right? So because he's offline in this right here, he's forcefully moving. There's a direct line from where he's going. Cover, go. And in that covering and going, because of that force, we're going to see, in my opinion, why Fiore says, I'm going to toss you and you're going to lose your knife and all sorts of stuff right here. So we're going to step back just a little here so we have a little bit of space here. He may be a little bit off camera here, but there's a reason why. You'll see in a second. It pops in here. He goes in for this right here. I bend the arm. I'm bending the arm for 2 things. One, it allows me to make sure I don't break my arm. I'm not going to dislocate anything. It also allows me to drop my weight, grab his leg, and now I'm going into the throw. And he's being a fantastic cookie with that, because the reality is, again, this is like a immediately, okay? He's not going to stop there, and so as soon as he comes in, so the reality is, as soon as he comes in, he pops in, I'm turning down into this position. If he decides to fight with me on here, there's a dagger right in his face, and now I have his back to me on this. Not said in the manual, but it is something that is there. So because he's gone through, I'm using it to roll and turn through, grab the leg, and I pull him up. The reality here on this too is, if you grab his wrist, bend your leg up here to me. He's showing this. That tells me this is a guy who's barreling through on target on that. And so for the purpose of this right here, I'm actually going to swap here. I'm going to have him perform it. Because to me, again, this is a consideration of not every technique is for the same person on this. Because he's taller than me. So he comes in with the knife. I'm here. As soon as I come through this way, he's rotating, and there's the leg right there. I mean, that's immediate because it literally just, because I'm going with it, he's rolling and going with that. So one more time with this right here. Shot comes in, cover, I'm going, he rolls, and I'm thrown. And I will tell you that from that position, whoo boy, you can feel your body go directly out this way. If nothing else, so some other considerations against a taller person, like if I'm going against Mr. Connor here. Keep in mind that, again, you have other options here that are in play. There's other ways to get him to drop down. And essentially, I'm in a really nasty spot for him to be able to do this. So again, this is just a more consideration because remember, the manual says knowing effective strikes. And they're sprinkled in all over the place here. Even this first cover here is very effective at disrupting and hurting a lot of these tendon spaces in the forearm. So if we're going against someone that's taller right here, like Mr. Connor, I'm like, oh boy, that's a big drink of water. I'm in trouble. Shot comes in, he starts to go, I roll with this, hit him in the groin. Also, one thing right here, this leg, I can get behind his leg. So there's options right here that you have. I may not be able to grab his leg, but I do have the ability for softening blows that can be just as effective in there. Effective strikes, that's a Marine Corps-ism, softening blows. So in, pop, he rolls, I roll with him, bang, or drop into the knee, okay? And if he falls on the ground, there's all sorts of manner of nasty stuff right there. So that's just a look at right here about how this works here. If you're practicing it at home, again, just take this nice and slow. There's no reason to complete it because the reality is as you're going down this way, his arms are like this, they're jump up this right here. It's very easy to hurt somebody. Again, we don't need to go in that way. But anyway, that is the consideration that I have for the for that throw play in regards to going in, going through, breaking the arm, and from there. So you can see with this video right here that this goes back to my point about not all techniques may be something that you want to utilize against a certain target. And especially when you look at, Mr. Connor, he's taller than me. And, I can get a lot of portions out of his arms, but being able to get over his body because he's taller than me, there is a lot of consideration that goes with this. Now, I want to say here also that this play right here, in my opinion, means that it essentially goes back to the concept of what I think that when Fiore talked about his avvisamento when it comes onto the segno. If you are not aware that he's going into this, then you probably are going to miss your opportunity, your window to be able to drive into that space. He specifically says right here, because of the forcefulness, thanks to the forcefulness of this, I'll throw you to the ground and leave you for dead, so you'll never again do this to me or any others wrong. That forcefulness that I think he's talking about is that, again, that is that aggressive action about getting in and really destroying the arm. So it is a very forward action. And that gets me to think that, once again, are we looking at the possibility here of this being, again, a much more direct kind of someone who's going at somebody here or the other direction right here? I have no idea. And again, I'm just looking at these pieces right here. But regardless, this master cover right here, where you work out here for first master, is a very dangerous position, which allows you to break and is using momentum, direction, and everything else to get to and through the person. And because of that, we're able to get in there. Another hypothesis I have here is that by getting lower and inside, that actually might be the other reason as to why the grab to the leg is actually a little bit easier. But again, when it comes down to this right here, I think it has a lot more to do about the momentum and the angle in which you are going. So with that being the case here, again, that's going to wrap up what we have here for this play. It's not a very complicated play right here as far as, the setup. It's a complicated play here as far as the setup and also how the counter position out of it all. It's not very clear That's what I meant to say. It's not very clear, like, what size of an opponent would this be against and whatnot. And what does forceful mean? Well, again, forceful can mean many things. And I think that one of the big things right here that's very important, especially about this work, is that essentially these are just options that you might find yourself in. So if you saw a couple videos ago where we're looking at like what might happen, what does a fight look like? What are continuations and instances that we may or may not see? And with that being the case here, this is just an example, in my opinion, of you find yourself in this situation. They're going into this, and because you are in this grapple scenario, you find you're in a position where you can put the person into the ground and really hurt them. So anyway, with that being the case here, that's gonna conclude this video here. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, please once again consider liking and subscribing. Leave a comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts and considerations in regards to what this work for Fiore is going for. If you are one of my viewers, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you as always stopping by right here. Again, share with a friend out there, wanting to grow this channel here, wanting to get more people to see this right here, wanting to see what people have to say in regards to this manuscript right here, and so on and so forth. So with that being the case, everybody, until next time, as always, stay safe out there, train well, and fight on. I will see you all soon.